Mark Bertoli joining us from Abbott Wealth Management on this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
How are things?
Fantastic.
You done Christmas shopping?
It's pretty much, yeah.
Good.
It's Christmas time in Kamloops.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, and it's cold out.
It is, absolutely.
We are talking about two different subjects today. We're going to begin with talking about the latest quarterly earnings from the banks in our part of the world.
Right. I was looking back at some headlines, and the naysayers say, oh, they'll never do it again, last year's profits, and I've heard this year after year after year. And this time it was the real estate, it was mortgages, it was the downturn in oil and everything else. And yet our banks earned, just maybe bring up that the first slide there.
The first slide looks
over
like this.
$9 billion profit in 3 months. You know, so a lot of the companies, I think the best performing was TD, up 25%. They earned $2.3 billion. RBC was flat, but RBC also just came off the highest profit of any company ever in the history of Canada last year.
Which keeps them ahead of everyone else there.
It's still the largest bank for sure.
So what the category on the right, the last portion of this slide, is that how much they made all year? That's
the earnings for the quarter. For 3 months.
For the quarter.
Yes. So we have a very powerful banking system here in Canada and very healthy. You know, everyone keeps saying there's something going to, you know, cause them to not improve their earnings, and they keep every quarter just doing better.
Why do Canadian banks have such a good name?
Well, first of all, they're well funded, but they also have they're charter banks because they received a charter from the Queen. They have the ability to do things other smaller banks cannot do, and our government actually protects them somewhat against outside competition. You don't see Bank of America or Wells Fargo or other large players out of the States here in Canada.
Right, okay.
So
let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, okay. So today I wanted to talk about, Shelby was in a while ago and talked about all the questions to ask your advisor.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit today about the responsibility of the client to get the best value out of the advisor. So some statistics: twice the savings rate, so you're accountable to somebody when you meet with an advisor, 4.2 times assets of non-advised places, and then more tax-efficient savings in retirement. So what's really interesting is as you're saving, you get advice, but one of the things we do as well is help clients avoid clawbacks and strategically withdraw income in retirement tax efficiently. So that's a big thing. What I really wanted to talk about today was the next slide, though, and that is how many doctors and lawyers and accountants do you have? You have a doctor, you have a lawyer, you have an accountant, and you take advice from them. You don't have 3 accountants and not share advice, or 3 doctors and go to 3 different doctors and get advice and different medications. Yet some people think that when it comes to financial planning, I'll keep my cards close to my chest and I won't tell everybody everything. That is a very inefficient way of doing things. The more successful corporations are and individuals in investing, the closer they have relationships with their team, including their financial advisor. So the next thing, to completely trust your advisor, and are they looking out for you? You need to keep looking for that advisor until you know that they're sitting on the same side of the table you are and that they're always going to be looking out for you. Okay, so another thing is your life coach, I call it. The third item there was, do you feel comfortable discussing everything? So you need to have that relationship where you have full disclosure with your advisor. For instance, maybe you have a child, you're doing estate planning, that you know will not be able to handle money once you pass away, when the estate transfers. And money can destroy people. So you need to have that conversation and be very frank with your advisor and say, you know what, one of my children has an addiction problem. They spend money, they don't, how do we deal with that? And your advisor can give you solutions, but only if you share those things with your advisor. Full disclosure. And then the last one there is your CFO, Chief Financial Officer. When you're dealing with an advisor, having stuff hidden here and there, first of all, from a planning perspective, looking at your future, they have no idea how to plan for you so that there's you minimize tax in retirement, you avoid clawbacks, financial planning with estate transfer. You need to find somebody where you're really comfortable disclosing everything.
Right, because they can't help you unless they know what the variables are.
Exactly.
Right?
So the last thing, without disclosure, complete disclosure, no one wins.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating for the advisor. And I don't know that you're going to get, if you don't give all of yourself to that relationship, I don't know that you're going to get all of that advisor in the relationship
Absolutely.
either.
Very fair. Good comments.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Great advice. If you'd like to learn more, you can absolutely go online. You can go to abbottwealth.com, email them, or phone them directly, 372-3736. We are back after a quick break. Stay with us.